WXII 12 News at 6 starts right now.
An eviction date is set while some residents are still scrambling to find new housing after they've learned their apartment complex is coming down. We'll have that story for you in just a moment.
An SUV submerged after a deputy pursuit in Forsyth County. The suspects fleeing the scene, rescuers rushing to make sure no one was inside while the vehicle was underwater.
A longtime business in downtown Elkin is closing up shop. I'm Steve King, live in Elkin with why the owners of Royal Soda Shop say they cannot stay open any longer.
It is a deeply personal decision to find somewhere to call your home. News of a Winston-Salem apartment complex set to be demolished has left a lot of people worried about what they're going to do next and how they're going to pay for it as well.
WXII 12 News' Leanne Dinier has more on the impact of Cloverdale Apartment closing. Leanne?
While many of the residents have already moved out, there are still some here. And for the folks that are still calling Cloverdale Apartments home, they're wondering where they're going to go next. Robin Wyatt knows.
This is heartbreaking. This is heartbreaking.
Even when difficult news is expected, it doesn't necessarily make it any easier to hear or read.
You can live without the building. It's the people that you have a hard time living without. Sorry.
Winston-Salem's Cloverdale Apartments will come down. Discussion about tearing down the complex in the Ardmore Historical District has been ongoing for years. The owners stopped taking new leases about 12 months ago as they prepared for what will eventually be the demolition of the site.
The problem is that this is a classic example of the loss of affordable housing that we're facing on an increasing basis in successful cities like Winston-Salem across the country.
This is the letter that went out to tenants January 6th, telling them they must go. Many have already left.
I'm afraid that most of the people who are still living in Cloverdale Apartments are folks who had genuine hardship finding another place to live.
The remaining tenants must move out by 6 p.m. March 6th.
We're still not anywhere near finding a place.
She says her limited income makes finding a new place in the city feel nearly impossible.
We have a lot of new market rate and unaffordable apartments going up in the center of the city. We are losing workforce affordable housing for folks who are working for a living but aren't wealthy.
We're going to do our absolute best. But if it were to happen, I'm going to find a place for my daughter to live. She will not be homeless. I can do it. She's not going to do it. So we're going to work it out. One way or the other, we'll work it out. I'm going to miss it so much, so much, so much.
The councilman says that he is in touch with some of the folks who are still here and is encouraging anyone who is struggling to find new housing to reach out to his office. We're going to have that number on our website here in just a few minutes. Reporting from Winston-Salem, Leanne Dinier, WXII 12 News.
Leanne, thank you. Next to a Winston-Salem courtroom where a 49-year-old man admits he took part in a murder 2 years ago. Michael Younger pleaded guilty today to second-degree murder charges. Maurice McCullen was the victim here. He was found dead on the living room floor of his apartment January 15, 2018. The autopsy determined he was strangled to death. Younger received a 32-year prison sentence. A Graham man is facing multiple sex offenses involving a 10-year-old tonight. Deputies say the juvenile went to the hospital and reported being sexually assaulted earlier this week. Investigators discovered a witness and arrested Joshua Jamison in Snow Camp, North Carolina. He is now at the Alamance County Jail. His bond set at $300,000. He faces charges of first-degree statutory sex offense, first-degree forcible sexual offense, indecent liberties with a child, and child abuse of sexual acts.
In Forsyth County, a car chase ended with an SUV submerged in a pond. Deputies say they arrived to a parking lot in Walkertown where callers had reported 4 men looking into cars. As they arrived, a white SUV reportedly drove off. Deputies say they tried to do a vehicle stop, but the SUV took off and then they started chasing it. 2 of the men in the car tried to run away as the vehicle was found submerged in a pond in Winston-Salem by Reynolds Park. The fire and police departments made sure no one was in the SUV, and the man who ran off were eventually found. The investigation still isn't over. An 8-hour deadly standoff between deputies and a man in Ashe County. Phone calls and communication from the suspect show that he, quote, wanted to cause harm to any law enforcement. The situation ended last night when the man was found dead at the scene. No one from the more than 12 responding agencies was hurt during the standoff. The State Bureau of Investigation is looking into this, which is normal procedure.
A beloved, nearly 100-year-old restaurant in Elkin is getting set to close its doors, leaving a lot of longtime customers absolutely heartbroken. Steve King spent the day at Royal Soda Shop to find out what is next for the business and what they say is behind this closure. Steve, good evening.
Kenny, well, Royal Soda Shop has been serving customers here in downtown Elkin since 1923, and on January 31st, these doors are going to close for the last time. Now, many customers have been coming here for decades, and they say they're devastated that the restaurant will be closing soon. The owners say they'll try to open a new location somewhere in Surry or Yadkin County, but they're sad they have to leave the space the business has been in for nearly 100 years.
What's just kind of going through your mind right now?
Just get through the rest of the month and figure out what we're going to do next. We put our blood, sweat, and tears into this place. It's disheartening, but we're okay.
I am heartbroken because, I mean, it's been in my family. My family came here before I was born, and I've been coming here since I was a little girl.
It'd probably be hard to get used to another place.
Now, the owners say that they have to close their business for 2 reasons. One, they say there's not as much foot traffic in downtown Elkin because of traffic congestion caused by the I-77 improvement project. Also, the owners say that the town of Elkin has not done enough to support local businesses or downtown businesses. However, the DOT says the I-77 improvement project is critical for the safety of commuters across the state, and the DOT is sad that the business has to close. Elkin town leaders say they've invested more than $1.5 million in the downtown area, and it's unfair to say that they have not invested enough in downtown businesses. Reporting live in downtown Elkin, Steve King, WXII 12 News.
Steve, thank you. In Guilford County, a couple of judges are announcing changes to how defendants are handled before a trial. Judge John Craig and Teresa Vincent say the following conditions will reduce the number of people in jail who have not actually been convicted of committing a crime. In order for a defendant to be released before a trial, one of the following has to happen. There must be a written promise to appear in court, the execution of an unsecured appearance bond. The defendant can be placed in the custody of someone who agrees to supervise them. The appearance bond can be secured fully in cash, or the defendant can be put under house arrest with electronic monitoring devices. These changes will not release anyone who is charged with anything serious or anything violent.
Last week was the deadliest week for this flu season so far. 11 people died, and that brings the state's total up to 33. At the same time last year, there were 23 flu deaths total. More than 60% of the flu-related deaths this year are people 65 years or older. Doctors say it's still not too late to get a flu shot. Army officials say that a soldier was killed in a routine free-fall parachute exercise. This happened in southern Arizona on Tuesday. Special Forces officials have identified this soldier as Master Sergeant Nathan Goodman. He was practicing free-falling when soldiers jumped from an aircraft and then delay opening their parachutes. Goodman was 36 years old from Hope Mills, North Carolina.
Today in Stokes County, family and friends are saying their final goodbyes to a longtime sheriff's deputy. Sergeant Wilson Bubby Blankenship passed away last Saturday. He'd been with the sheriff's office for more than 20 years. Main Street in Danbury shut down for his funeral while hundreds of people paid their respects. A local World War II veteran is the recipient of France's highest honor. The Legion of Honor Award is for those who have contributed to France as a nation. Paul Pruitt of Eden, North Carolina, received the award this morning for his bravery and sacrifice in 5 military campaigns, all during World War II. He earned 5 Bronze Stars during his time in the Army and says this award means even more to him.
It means a lot to me, especially being from a foreign country. I'll be able to put this up with other things that I have received because of my service.
Greatest generation indeed. Some of the best known recipients of this award: Dwight D. Eisenhower and Douglas MacArthur.
North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper spoke in Alamance County today about a college grant program. There's video of him at Alamance Community College, one of the first community colleges that's worked with this Finish Line grant program. It started in September of 2018, and the college has given 122 of them so far. Companies in the area are able to work with the colleges to gain employees who are certified in the skills that they're looking for.
For North Carolina to be competitive in the global manufacturing marketplace, that trades education is absolutely essential. We can find degreed mechanical engineers, but where we really struggle is finding the talent.
Cooper says this is clear evidence that more needs to be invested in this program so that more North Carolinians can follow their dream of a college education.
In the impeachment trial of President Trump, Chief Justice John Roberts has now formally taken his place as judge, and the U.S. senators were sworn in today as jurors. The president's legal team is preparing for this constitutional clash, just as new accusations potentially tie him more closely to the heart of the Ukraine controversy. We're looking right now at the ceremonial start to the trial today. The real work begins this coming Tuesday, with Chief Justice Roberts acting more as a referee while the senators making the final judgment. Senators still have to decide whether they will allow new documents and witnesses into this trial. If they do, Lev Parnas says he is willing to testify.